We're on the hot seat, we're employing new staff, we're getting new machines, we've got the right people in the right places. Yeah, we're ready to go. My name is Cathal Carey, owner and director of Glendun Grip here in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Moved out to Australia in 2003, spent a good few years in Sydney and moved up to Brisbane. I originally come from a little glen called Glendun, which is where the name Glendun has come from. Moved up to Queensland where I purchased my first little digger by myself and worked in one of the tunnels. Slowly progressed from there. My business partner at the time was the guy that sold the crushers and screeners. We sort of joined forces and that's where we started doing the contract crushing and screening. I left school when I was 16, done my apprenticeship as a plumber. Done it along with my brother back home. Yeah, that was good times. And once I had done that, I went to Chicago for a year, worked out there and come back to Cushendun again and stayed in Cushendun for a year. And then myself and a few of the mates decided that we would take off out to Sydney. I think it was on one New Year's Eve, 2003. I think we were flying in the air over New Year's Eve. That's really how the journey started in Australia, yeah. We just found it hard enough to get work at the start and done a whole lot of different jobs. But eventually got a decent job down as an excavator for a guy and ended up staying with him for a few years and got sponsored and really liked it here. Ended up staying. First digger I had was a little 13-ton Hitachi. Not really knowing a lot about diggers, but it just seemed to be a popular brand back home that a lot of people liked and thought would be reliable. So not knowing what to get, I thought let's just give this a go then. Look, I think I was on this job with the one foreman all the time. He just kept taking me from one job to the next job to the next job to the next job. And I just said one day, well, look, if I'm going to hang around, can I get my own machine? And yeah, he didn't seem to think there was a problem. I just seen there's a good opportunity, even if you only ever had one machine, to make some money yourself. There's good opportunities either just working for the company or having one machine yourself, but I wanted to give it a go, having a machine myself. There was one digger back then. Look, there's probably the guts of 140 pieces of equipment now, just on the crushing and screening and the earth moving side. We're based all over Australia, all over the east coast and over in the west. Yeah, just crushing rock, and we've got a fleet of earth moving crushing gear and light vehicles to service each of those areas. I think we're working in about 11 quarries at the minute. We have capacity to crush between 100 and 120,000 tonne of rock every week. The business has grown massively in the past, definitely in the past 12 months, but definitely in the past 24 months. So we just keep breaking targets every month. Yeah, we're all over, mainly now in Queensland at the minute, but we're in Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria and WA. It grew when we started doing the crushing and screening side. I think we broke into a market where there wasn't a lot of people doing a really good job at it. And we just set the standard high from the start with quality, reliability and our safety. Yeah, look, we're not really so much to do, we're just a contractor to the people who own the quarries. We're not so much of a planner of getting the quarry planning open or approved or blasting. The quarry will do the blast, we'll bring our mobile gear in and we'll either crush at the blast or we haul the rock to the mobile gear. So we'll just either tender for a contract, X amount of thousands of tonnes, and once we win it, we just move our gear in and start crushing. We'll crush the gear and haul it to what they call a sales floor, where the crushed rock is stockpiled, and then the client themselves, they will load that out into their road trucks and deliver it to the customers. Look, a lot of people ask us, what do we do and why do we crush there and what happens? Look, but for us, there's a few different reasons. One is sometimes we are just going to a green field, which is a brand new quarry that we might go in and do the crushing there for a few years till they find out what sort of a fixed plant they're going to put in themselves. That's one situation. Another situation is a lot of these quarries have been established for 20, 30, 40 years, and the yearly production that their machines could do back then isn't enough nowadays. So they bring us in to do the surplus. And the third reason why we get a lot of work is a lot of quarries that have been set up for 20, 30, 40 years is that their machines aren't safe anymore, and they will be shut down, and the cost to get them back going, whether it's wiring or safety, or there's predominantly safety, so that they will be shut down also, and that keeps us working in those locations. That's the three main reasons why we be crushing rock. Yeah, look, again, it just all depends what the contract is. It could be 6 months, 12 months. Some quarries we're working in have been in it for 6, 7, 8 years. So I think it's really down to yourself as how good a job you do to what length of time you get to stay there. Nobody understands because it's something you can't see. That's what I found more interesting to start when we started to go into quarries, because you just could be driving down the road and over the hedge on your left hand side there's a massive hole in the road. Like, and unless you've seen trucks coming out at that time, you could drive past it. We're only half an hour north of Brisbane here, but I know from Brisbane, from 2 hours north, there's probably 10 quarries, and there's probably the same on the south side of Brisbane. Standard week for me nowadays, look, is mostly in the office. Look, the past 12 to 18 months I've been trying to keep a bit healthier, eat a bit healthier, but I do spend probably maybe more time in the office than I want to, and maybe more than what everybody else wants me to. I think probably the past 12 months, look, I've probably had more time out of the business, but I think from doing that has given me a clear head to understand how to grow the business and focus on things that we need to improve the business. Obviously, with some of my key managers in-house, that's been enabling me to do that. We've only started using Cat machines this year. We've bought a few excavators and a couple of loaders, and we're somewhere on the way for next year. So far the Caterpillar brand's been unreal. The service, technical support, everything. We couldn't ask for more. Yeah, look, we had the Volvo. We've had the Volvo for probably 10 or 12 years. We just thought it was time for a change. The overall support with the Caterpillar equipment I think it outrules all the rest, just because of the amount of dealerships and machines and support staff they have all over Australia. I think the technology now on the Caterpillar machines, really getting the information back to our head office, is way better than anything else. The crushing side of it's all Terex. It's either been Terex Finlay or just off recent we've purchased some Terex Lincoln machines. We do run a few Metzos as well, but again we just try and keep it simple and keep as many of the one brand as possible. The earth moving gear now is predominantly going forward going to be Caterpillar, all Caterpillar. Dump trucks, loaders, boxes, excavators. Because what makes that easier for us as a business is that all the crushers and screeners, every engine in those is all Caterpillar. So we already know the service that we get from spare parts down to the oil sampling to all of that stuff with our engines. What's helping us with the new Caterpillar machines is that they've got the Vision Link built into them, which is a GPS that sends information back to our office. We know exactly what tons the machines lifted, what tons they've loaded out, when they've started, fuel burn, that's on the loaders, the excavators, when they're slewing, when they're not slewing, how much diesel they're burning, how much idle time, how much tracking time. And it's all something you can get very easy. You can get it daily, you can get it weekly, you can get it monthly. So having that information just helps us get the right machine to fit the job we need it to do. It has happened there recently where one of the machines we spec'd for a job was slightly too big. A lot of idle time, nearly 50% idle time, and we thought, right, oh well, does that machine size need to be there? So we moved that to another location and put a smaller machine in that has less idle time, burning less fuel, and doing the same job. So again, it's all down to efficiencies. Really all this tech support from Caterpillar, it just makes us more efficient at what we do, which at the end of the day is better for the companies that we work for. 80% of our machines will come out of the north of Ireland. So from us ordering a machine, either the dealer doesn't have it here, but if it's in Ireland or on the assembly line, I think it's 6 or 8 weeks shipping. So if it leaves Ireland, we could have it here in 8 weeks. It could be in a quarry working in 9 weeks, depending on how long it takes to get it in the production line over there. But once it gets on the boat, 8 or 9 weeks. And once we pick it up at the dealership here in Brisbane, depending on where it has to go, we can set up, if we've got the machines ready to go, we can set up a full train in a quarry from start to finish within a week. Each one of our quarries, we can crush between 10 and 13,000 tonne every week. We've got a range of jaw crushers, cone crushers, horizontal screens, incline screens, vertical shaft impactors. Any of those machines we're making concrete aggregates, we're making asphalt aggregates, we can make road base, we can make railway ballast, we can make Gibeon rock. There's really nothing that we can't do within the quarry with the mobile equipment we have. Owning any business is a challenge, but I think, look, if you can get the right people and the right staff and look after them, in the correct way, it's good. We enjoy doing it. But the main challenge would be is getting the right staff. Getting the right staff and getting them trained to the Glendun standard of safety and wanting to do a hard day's work. Coming to work for Glendun, look, there's massive opportunities here. Look, a lot of our staff have started at the bottom driving a dump truck or a loading shovel, or then they move up to an excavator, and then look, some guys and girls are just happy to drive an excavator and that's their thing. They don't want to be a supervisor or a manager, but a lot of them, they just progress up to be a manager then. I think what's good to come and work for Glendun is, look, we're friendly. We're a friendly team. We offer good conditions. We offer good wages. If you want to come here and work, you know, we pay for accommodation. We pay for some of your lunches during the week. There's options of sponsorship. It mightn't be a lifestyle choice, but if you can commit to coming for 3, 4, 5 years, it's definitely a good opportunity to save some decent money. I think the idea of coming to Australia, probably on the other side of the world, whether it's Ireland or the UK, wherever it is, look, it seems a massive distance to go. What we are in the process of doing now and what we have done is, look, anybody that we know from back home or the UK or Northern Hemisphere that is interested in coming out, and we've got some references and we know they're good. Look, we've done it recently. We just say, look, send us your visa, send us your passport. We end up organising their flights, getting them out here, pick them up at the airport, get their accommodation. You know, we basically set them up to go to work. We get them into a house where they don't have to pay anything, and away they go. All they really got to do is put their head down and work. Look, ideally we want somebody with some machinery experience. Ideally it's somebody who's drove an excavator or a digger back home, or who's worked on a construction site or worked in a quarry. That's the key person, but ideally that's not always the case. And sometimes, look, if we've got young people who are just willing to have a go and got machinery background, but we seem to have the best support is the guys and girls that come from a farming background, because they grow up around machinery, they know how dangerous it is, and they've got an idea. I think if you can drive farm machinery, whether it's buckrake and silage, driving combines, spreading slurry, a lot of that stuff, you're machinery minded, but I think you'd be hands-on to drive any of the machines that we have. Each person in each quarry has got a pretty critical role. As you guys have seen today, everybody's doing what they do. There's nobody really walking around with nothing to do. So somebody with no experience, you can put them in the dump truck, give them a few weeks training, and they can do that. What we have done recently is a lot of couples, partners and girls have come out, and the girl was starting the dump truck, the guy might be in the loader, the excavator, but that's working pretty well, you know, and the girls are also progressing up from the dump truck to the loaders. There's an example of a guy that has come out from home. He's working down in Victoria. He's a butcher by home, you know, I think with zero experience of driving machinery, but he's now in the dump truck, been with us I think 8 months already, and he's loving it. He feels as if he's just got a new lease of life, and he wants to hang around, and he wants to get an opportunity to drive the loader or the excavator, and yeah, that will happen for him because he's got the right attitude. I think what sets us aside, look, is we're a young, vibrant team that there's nothing we can't do, and there's nothing that a quarry would ask us that we can't do with our machines, whether it's tonnages or spec, but I think the culture around Glendun is excellent as regards helping other people in a quarry. We are definitely pushing the safety side of things as setting it as a high standard, just to make sure that people come to work and they go home safe. And we want to stand out. We want to be better than everybody else. We just don't want to be an average company that, yeah, their safety is not bad. We want to be better than everybody else. But the key for the success of Glendun, for me, has been the staff and the work ethic of the staff. Obviously, I'm the owner of the business, but I can't do it by myself. So the staff that we have working for us are unbelievable. I originally started the business driving the machines myself. When some of the guys on site would ring me and say, do we do it this way, can we do it that way, I can relate to them exactly what's happening, which I think makes a big difference also, rather than, you know, me telling them to do something that I know nothing about. So there's literally nothing from the bottom to the top that I haven't done and will continue to do. We promote ourselves on the safety side. Look, there's no corners to be cut. Like, and if we have an attitude of, you know what, guys, you're getting paid by the hour, so you're getting paid by the hour, so you may as well do it right. There's no benefits or no bonus to you by doing it wrong or doing it quicker. In fact, yeah, just do it. You get paid by the hour, let's just do it the way it's supposed to happen.
My name's Josh Weedman, and we're just doing some runs in the 775 dump truck.
And how long have you been working for Glendun?
I've been working for Glendun for probably a couple months now, so I started halfway through this year. I come all the way out from Glendun to come and work out here.
What made you want to come out and work here?
Well, I think it was more just wanted to try something different. At the same time, they look like you know, a quality bunch of boys out here, and yeah, the work looked pretty cool from what I saw. So yeah, before I'd come here, I was doing some earth moving stuff pretty early on, so I got all my tickets, and then I moved on to doing some Boilermaker stuff. So this is completely different to me, but yeah, with all the help from all the other boys, I picked it up pretty quick. Being an apprentice back out in Glendun, the money wasn't very good, but also from what I'd seen on posts on Facebook and stuff, the work looked really cool and something different that I thought I'd want to try.
Like, did you ever think you'd be driving a machine this big?
Oh, definitely not. I never thought I'd be something this big. But yeah, as soon as they threw me the keys and said to have a drive, I was pretty excited. So.
Is the likes of this work hard to, like, is it hard to learn, or how did you find getting onto it?
I found it was pretty easy, really, especially like I said before, all the other boys are pretty good in, you know, helping getting you up to speed really quickly, and yeah, it's been pretty much an awesome experience so far.
And what's your boss like?
My boss is awesome, especially yeah, having his help with the race car stuff as well. It's been really cool. So yeah, nah, he's a top bloke.
How do you find working with the Irish boys and all the rest of them?
The accent's getting, I'm starting to learn it a bit more now. When I first come, it was a bit difficult, but no, they're awesome boys and yeah, really helpful, and yeah, been awesome to work with.
Well, what's your favourite bit about the job then?
I think my favourite part of the job is obviously getting to drive the machines, but as well too, you know, meeting new people as well, and yeah, I obviously didn't know many people from around here, so it's good to have a lot of people around me now. So far, I did a little stint in the digger, and that was awesome. And then I've also did a bit of driving in the Moxie for a little bit. But I definitely think, yeah, the big 775 is the best. It's very comfortable, which is good. You get to, you know, not get knocked around as much as you do in the Moxie driving up and down the hill all day. Oh yeah, they're very quick. The old dump truck, they're a lot quicker than the Moxie, and I think as well, it's better, you know, it's a bigger machine, you got more space in the cab as well, so it feels a lot nicer.
You can spend long days in here all right then?
Oh yeah, you know, we even have lunch up here and just cruise, it's very good, so.
Relaxing the aircon?
Yeah, awesome.
You'd need it in this part of the world?
Oh yeah, it's very hot out here, but yeah, being in an aircon cab is very good. Yeah, I'm loving it. I think it's one of the best decisions I've made in a long time, and you know, I did always want to end up doing work like this with the bigger machines and stuff anyway, so it was yeah, a step in the right direction.
And do you think you'll stay in the quarry then for a while?
I think I'll stay in the quarry for as long as they want me here. As long as they want me, I think, yeah, this will be where I'd like to be. I think Glendun's an awesome company to work for, just because, yeah, the boys here are awesome, like the boys and the girls, everyone's lovely, and yeah, like make everything a lot easier to learn and to adjust. Like when I first moved here, they made it very easy transitioning over, you know, and obviously, yeah, helping out with all the work. Like it's very daunting jumping in a big truck for the first time and driving up and down the hills and stuff, so they made that a lot better experience. I think, yeah, if someone wanted to come here and they have no experience, I think, you know, it's like an awesome experience. Like it's something completely new, and you know, you're like going, you know, past your comfort zone, and I think it's, for me at least, it's, yeah, been awesome. Like, you know, getting to learn new things, and you know, it just is another, you know, avenue that you can go down as well. I have really enjoyed it so far, so I think if anyone wants to try it, they should give it a go.
I think Australia sells itself, you just need to get here. You know, the weather, we live up in Queensland, the weather's unreal, like it's never really cold at all. I think for me, when I first come here, I did see, you know, working for a company, seeing the opportunities that people had. There was good wages, you could buy your own house, you could have a nice car, you could have a jet ski, you could have a motorbike, you could have a boat. A lot of things that a 21-year-old guy living in Ireland would struggle to get, where out here it definitely seems easier if you fall in with the right job and you work hard. And you have to work hard to get all of those things. This time last year, 12 months ago, we just used subcontractors to move our machines around. Look, I think coming from Ireland, yeah, I've always liked trucks. And look, road trucks or floats, whatever you call them, look, it's always something I wanted to have within the business. And it was just getting to that point now, right, that we're using subcontractors so much now as the opportunity to buy your own machine, be cost effective and save yourself some money. Yeah, we just move all our own machines around while we can. And when we need help, we just bring in subcontractors. Yeah, look, we bought a Volvo truck here, look, and predominantly just because of the support. And that's it. The Volvo truck is built here in Brisbane. So that's the reason why. And yeah, you head up and down the freeway, you'll see 9 Volvos for 1 Scania. I think with a lot of teamwork within the business here, look, if somebody needs a day off or somebody needs a help, we all muck in. Really, I think my attitude is that there's nothing I won't do to give the boys a hand. Whenever somebody's off, we all muck in. Warren has said he's off today because he's going away for a week in the truck. So I jumped on the truck today, went and picked up the new machine over at Lincoln's. It's a new scalper. Yeah, we've got a few new machines off those guys this year, and we've got some more coming again next year. Yeah, look, I think when I had one little digger to start with, and it was going all right, and then I bought a second diggers up in Brisbane, but I think it's when we really got into the contract crushing and screening, we just set a benchmark that seemed to be higher than everybody else's, and we just continued to win jobs because of our reputation. And it really is, up until now, like we don't advertise. This is some of the first social media stuff we're doing, and just to try and get some more people to come to Australia and work to us. There's heaps we want to do yet. We want to be more efficient at the reporting back at the office, our maintenance or spare parts. There's lots we can do with the business. Look, I think the business originally started with no plan. It just grew organically itself. So I think the business is going to continue to go organically itself, whether we want it to or not. I don't really think much about it, to be honest. Some people say to me, oh, you have to sit back and look and see what you've done, but I think because I come from nothing or come from humble beginnings, it's not something I think much about. What really does it for me, I like to see everybody who works with Glendun on the journey as well. A lot of our staff have been here from the very first day it started. The wages that we pay nowadays to our operators and the conditions and the accommodation, and I think the opportunities for people to come and work here for half a dozen years and bank their money, opportunity is massive. You know, anybody that starts in business with one tractor or one excavator, they don't think I'm going to have 140 off them in X amount of years, which I think is the fun part about it. And who knows what's the next 12 months to the next 3 years. You know, we have this attitude of, you know what, every quarry is the same. Because if we set the standard right there, the processes is right, the sky's the limit. You know, it'll just be get the right people, have the right staff, look after the right people, have the proper culture. We can do anything. But I suppose for me now moving forward, the key for Glendun is getting the right people. Yeah, look, if anybody's interested to come out to Australia to work to Glendun, look, you can get in contact with us on our Facebook page, on our website, and look, we have opportunities all over Australia. So just shout out and we can make it happen. For the whole time I've been in Australia, I think we're positioned in the best place ever now. I was chatting to somebody the other day down in Victoria. Like I think the boom in Australia moves from state to state. It's been New South Wales and Victoria for a good probably 10 years, but I think now at the minute, we can see a massive growth in Queensland, predominantly to do with the Olympics. We're on the hot seat, we're employing new staff, we're getting new machines, we've got the right people in the right places. Yeah, we're ready to go. Looking back, what would I change? Probably nothing, because I'm super happy where life is, where business, where family life is, where marriage is. There's nothing I'd change. Life in Australia for me at the minute is unbelievable.